Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun! The sterile illumination of the vanity bulbs flickered, emanating a hum that reverberated around the cramped confines of the staff washroom. The woman's serene expression dissolved as her anxious gaze shifted from her reflection. Long chestnut waves framed her structured cheekbones, accentuated by the flattering effect of her artistically applied cosmetics. She adjusted the stunning teal garment draped over her curves, its silkiness contrasting the rough grip of her trembling fingers. The distinct clack of her 4-inch silver stilettos punctuated the moment before the door swung ajar. Hesitant anticipation transformed into visceral shock as she locked eyes with Marjorie, the HR representative, whose face conveyed a mixture of disbelief and outrage. "Coulter? What in God's name?" Heart hammering, panic rising like floodwater. "I can explain!" But Marjorie had already backed out, the door swinging shut behind her. 30 minutes later, sitting across from the store manager and HR director, the teal dress now covered with a borrowed oversized sweater, everything was falling apart.
"Company policy is quite clear about appropriate workplace conduct,"
Mr. Davidson said, not making eye contact, his voice clinically detached. "We simply can't have this kind of disruption in our workplace." "I wasn't disrupting anything," came the quiet reply. "I was on break. I was just using the women's facilities while dressed inappropriately," Marjorie interjected, sliding a termination letter across the desk.
"We'll mail your final paycheck."
The walk home felt endless, silver heels dangling from trembling fingers, the borrowed sweater pulled tight against the cool evening air. 5 years as a retail manager, gone in an instant. 5 years of careful compartmentalization between work life and private life, shattered. Inside the small apartment, the sweater dropped to the floor. Numb fingers reached for the zipper of the teal dress, then stopped. Turning slowly, eyes fell on the full-length mirror mounted on the closet door. The reflection showed someone finally recognizable, despite the smeared mascara and disheveled hair. Someone real. "No more hiding," came the whispered declaration to the empty room. 3 weeks later, the apartment looked nothing like it had before. The spare bedroom had been transformed. Clothing racks lined one wall, filled with carefully curated outfits. A professional makeup station with proper lighting dominated another, and a styling chair sat in the center of the room. The doorbell rang precisely at 10 a.m. "Coming!" Adjusting the cream-colored blouse tucked into high-waisted navy slacks, pausing to check the reflection in the hallway mirror. The brown hair had been professionally styled into a sleek bob that framed a face with expertly applied natural-looking makeup. Gold stud earrings and a delicate necklace completed the look. The door opened to reveal a nervous-looking man in his 30s, clutching a small duffel bag.
"You must be Patrick,"
came the warm greeting.
"I'm Lola. Come in."
Patrick stepped inside, eyes darting around anxiously.
"I almost didn't come. I've never done anything like this before."
"Most people who find me haven't," Lola replied, leading him toward the converted bedroom. "That's why I started this. Sometimes we all need a safe place to become who we really are." Patrick's shoulders relaxed slightly.
"Your ad said you offer styling and makeup lessons."
"And wardrobe consultation, wig fitting if you're interested. And most importantly, a judgment-free zone." Lola gestured to the transformed room. "Welcome to my little salon." Patrick's eyes widened.
"This is impressive. How long have you been doing this?"
"Professionally? Just 3 weeks, but I've been doing my own makeup and styling for years. Lola smiled. After losing my management job, I realized I could turn what I love into something meaningful. You were a manager? What happened? Lola gestured for Patrick to take a seat in the styling chair.
Got caught being myself at the wrong moment.
Best thing that ever happened to me, honestly. Now, tell me what look you're hoping to achieve today. 3 hours later, Patrick had been transformed. Looking at himself in the mirror, wearing a burgundy wrap dress and a natural-looking brunette wig, he couldn't stop smiling. I never thought I could look like this, he whispered, turning to see different angles. Everyone deserves to see themselves as they truly are, Lola said, making final adjustments to his wig. That'll be $80 for today's session. After Patrick left, Lola updated the small accounting spreadsheet on her laptop. Between word of mouth and the carefully placed online ads in supportive forums, she'd had 15 clients in just 3 weeks. Not enough to replace a manager's salary yet, but a promising start. Her phone pinged with a notification. Another booking request through her website. At this rate, she'd need to consider expanding beyond the apartment sooner than expected. 2 months flew by. The calendar was now booked solid 2 weeks in advance. What had started as a desperate pivot after losing employment had blossomed into something far more meaningful than retail management had ever been. Lola applied a final coat of peach-colored lipstick to her client Diane, who had been coming weekly since the beginning. There, what do you think? Lola stepped back, allowing Diane to see the completed look. Diane, born Daniel, gazed at her reflection, tears welling in her eyes. I wish I'd found you years ago. Better late than never, Lola replied, squeezing her shoulder gently. And you've made amazing progress with your makeup skills. Soon you won't even need me. Don't say that, Diane laughed, dabbing carefully at her eyes to preserve the mascara. This is the highlight of my week. My wife even says I come home happier on salon days. She's supportive? Getting there. She's coming to pick me up today, actually. First time. I think she wants to meet you. Lola's eyebrows rose. That's a big step. It's because of what you've done for me. This isn't just about makeup and clothes. It's about... Diane gestured vaguely at herself, searching for words. I know, Lola said softly. Believe me, I know. After Diane left, hand in hand with a cautiously smiling wife, Lola began cleaning up. The apartment salon was bursting at the seams. Appointment requests poured in daily, many of which had to be declined due to the packed schedule and limited space. That evening, sitting on the small balcony with a glass of wine, Lola scrolled through commercial rental listings. The savings from her management job were dwindling, but the salon income was steady and growing. Taking the leap to a proper storefront was terrifying, but staying small felt increasingly impossible. A text message notification appeared on her phone. It was from Rebecca, a regular client who worked as a commercial real estate agent. Heard you might be looking for a space. I have something perfect. Small, affordable, excellent location. Former nail salon, so utilities already set up. Interested? Lola's heart raced. The universe seemed to be sending a clear message. Absolutely interested. When can I see it? The small storefront was indeed perfect. Located on a side street just off the main shopping district, it had previously housed a nail salon that had relocated to a larger space. The bones were there. Plumbing for sinks, proper electrical for styling stations, even some built-in storage. Monthly rent is within your budget, and the landlord is offering 3 months at half price to get the space filled, Rebecca explained, walking Lola through the empty space. Plus, I think this neighborhood would embrace what you're doing. Lola ran her hand along the wall, mind racing with possibilities. The navy slacks and emerald green blouse she'd chosen that morning suddenly felt prophetic. The colors of new growth, of taking chances. It's much bigger than I'd planned for initially, she admitted. I've been operating solo. Rebecca smiled. Room to grow. And speaking personally, as one of your clients, you're going to need help soon. You can't keep up with demand on your own. A week later, Lola signed the lease. 2 weeks after that, with the help of several loyal clients who volunteered their time and skills, the space was transformed. 3 styling stations with proper salon chairs, a comfortable waiting area with tasteful decor, a small retail section selling makeup and accessories. The night before the grand opening, Lola stood alone in the center of her salon, hardly believing how far she'd come in just a few months. The sign in the window, illuminated by soft lighting, read simply, Lola's Transformation Salon. Her phone buzzed. It was a text from her mother, who had been surprisingly supportive once the initial shock wore off. So proud of you, sweetheart. Wish I could be there tomorrow. Your father and I will visit soon. Promise. Love you. Tears blurred her vision. Not all family reactions had been positive, but enough bridges remained intact to matter. The grand opening exceeded all expectations. Clients old and new filled the space throughout the day. Local business owners stopped by with welcome gifts. A reporter from the neighborhood paper came by for photos and a brief interview. By closing time, Lola's cheeks ached from smiling, her voice hoarse from hours of conversation. The appointment book was filled for weeks ahead, and the waiting list continued to grow. As she locked the door that night, flipping the sign to closed, Lola caught her reflection in the window. The brown hair was growing out nicely now, no longer needing the help of extensions. The simple black dress with its modest neckline and knee-length hem was a far cry from the teal cocktail dress that had cost her a job and launched this journey. For the first time in her life, the person in the reflection matched the person inside. 6 months into running the salon, Lola faced a new challenge. Despite working 12-hour days, she couldn't keep up with demand. The waiting list had grown to almost 3 months, and clients were becoming frustrated with the long wait times. Sitting at her small office desk after hours, she reviewed the finances. The business was profitable, surprisingly so. There was room in the budget for help, but finding the right person seemed daunting. The next morning, a young woman walked in without an appointment. She wore a simple white button-up shirt and black pants, her makeup minimal but flawless. We're booked solid today, Lola began apologetically. I'm not here for an appointment, the woman replied. My name is Michelle. I saw your job posting online. Lola blinked in surprise. I haven't posted a job listing yet. Michelle looked confused. Oh, well, Rebecca mentioned you were thinking of hiring. I'm a licensed cosmetologist with 5 years of experience. I've been looking for a salon where I could... She hesitated. Where you could what? Lola prompted gently. Where I could be myself, Michelle finished quietly. I'm transgender, and my last workplace wasn't exactly comfortable with that. Rebecca thought we might be a good fit. Lola gestured to the chair across from her. Tell me more about your experience. By the end of their conversation, Lola knew she'd found her first employee. Michelle had extensive training, a loyal client base of her own, and, most importantly, understood the salon's mission on a deeply personal level. When can you start? Lola asked. Michelle's smile lit up her face. Tomorrow too soon? With Michelle handling some of the styling appointments, Lola could focus more on the business side while still maintaining her favorite part, the transformative makeovers that had become her signature service. The addition of Michelle also brought something unexpected, a shift in clientele. While the crossdressing and transgender clients remained the core business, cis women began booking appointments too, drawn by word of mouth about the salon's exceptional makeup skills and personalized attention. I didn't expect this, Lola confessed to Michelle one evening as they cleaned up after closing. I thought we'd be catering exclusively to people like us. Michelle arranged combs in their sanitizing solution. Makes sense, though. Who knows more about creating a feminine appearance than someone who had to learn it from scratch? Besides, good business is good business. True, Lola agreed, tidying the reception desk. And it's nice seeing different types of clients interacting in the waiting area, breaking down barriers, you know? The brown-haired stylist had been contemplating another significant step forward. Each morning, Lola took a small pill before breakfast, the beginning of hormone therapy. The decision hadn't come lightly, involving extensive counseling and careful consideration. But 3 months in, the subtle changes felt right, like pieces sliding into their proper places. 1 year to the day after being fired from the retail management position, Lola hosted a small celebration at the salon. Clients, friends, and family gathered after hours, enjoying catering from the restaurant next door and champagne in plastic flutes. Dressed in a deep purple wrap dress that complemented her growing curves, brown hair now falling past her shoulders in loose waves, Lola moved through the crowd, accepting congratulations and well wishes. Speech! Someone called out, and the room quieted. Lola hadn't prepared anything formal, but standing there, surrounded by people who had supported her journey, words came easily. A year ago today, I thought my world was ending. I'd been caught using the women's restroom while dressed in what I now realize was a pretty tacky teal cocktail dress. Laughter rippled through the room. I lost my job, my income, and, for a moment, my hope. She paused, taking in the faces watching her. Michelle and 2 other stylists who had joined the team, clients who had become friends, her mother standing proudly in the corner. But sometimes the worst moments lead us exactly where we need to be. This salon started as a desperate attempt to earn a living doing something I loved. It's become so much more, a community, a safe space, a place of transformation both inside and out. To Lola! Someone shouted, raising their glass. And to all of you, she countered, raising her own, for proving that when one door closes, sometimes a much better one opens. After the party, walking home in the cool evening air, Lola reflected on the journey. The salon now employed 4 people full-time, had been featured in a national magazine, and had a 6-figure annual revenue. More importantly, it had become the supportive workplace she had desperately needed but couldn't find a year ago. Her phone buzzed with a text from Michelle. Best boss ever. Thanks for the party and for creating this space for all of us. Smiling, Lola typed back, just getting started. The following spring brought new opportunities. A retail space adjacent to the salon became available, and Lola quickly secured it. Within 2 months, walls had been removed to double the salon's size, adding more styling stations and a dedicated area for makeover photography sessions. The expanded team now included 7 stylists, each bringing unique skills and perspectives. Some were transgender like Michelle and Lola, others were allies with exceptional talents. All understood the salon's core mission, to provide a space where transformation could happen safely and beautifully. On a particularly busy Saturday, Lola noticed a nervous first-time client waiting. Dressed in men's clothing that hung awkwardly, clutching a duffel bag, white-knuckled, the client reminded Lola of so many who had come through her door, and of herself not so long ago.
"I'll take this one,"
she told the receptionist, approaching with a warm smile. "Hi, I'm Lola. You must be Ryan?" The client nodded stiffly.
"I don't know if I'm in the right place."
"Let's find out," Lola said kindly, leading the way to her station. "Tell me what brought you here today." Ryan stared at the floor.
"I've never told anyone this.
I've been dressing in private for years. I want to see... I need to know if I could ever look authentic?" Lola supplied gently. "That's what we do here. No judgment, just transformation. As much or as little as feels right to you." By the end of the 3-hour session, Ryan had been transformed. Looking in the mirror at long brown extensions blended seamlessly with natural hair, subtle makeup enhancing features without looking overdone, and a simple black dress that flattered a previously concealed figure, tears welled up.
"I never thought," Ryan whispered. "I know exactly how you feel,"
Lola said, making a minor adjustment to the hair. "I was sitting where you are now, not so long ago." "Really? But you're so complete." Lola smiled. "Everyone's journey is different. Some people come here for occasional expression, others for beginning steps on a longer path. There's no right way to be yourself." After Ryan left, looking far more confident than upon arrival, Lola checked her schedule for the next appointment. Her phone buzzed with an email notification, an interview request from a major beauty publication wanting to feature the Salon in an article about inclusive beauty spaces. 2 years ago, hiding in an employee bathroom in a teal dress, such success would have seemed impossible. Now, it felt like just the beginning. That evening, Lola sat in her favorite coffee shop, reviewing applications for 2 new stylist positions. The business was thriving beyond all projections, with plans for a small satellite location in the works.
"Mind if I join you?"
a voice asked. Looking up, Lola saw Amanda, a regular client who came in monthly for styling and had become something of a friend. "Please," Lola gestured to the empty chair. "I could use a break from reading resumes." Amanda set down her coffee. "Expanding again?" "Trying to keep up with demand," Lola confirmed, pushing aside the paperwork. "How's the new job going?" "Excellent. And I swear it's partly thanks to you. The confidence I feel when I leave your salon has changed how I present myself professionally." Lola smiled. "That's the best compliment." "I've been meaning to ask," Amanda said, stirring her coffee. "Have you ever thought about teaching? Workshops or something? What you know about transformation could help so many people beyond your client base." The question struck a chord. Lola had been considering ways to extend the salon's impact, particularly for those who couldn't afford full services. "Actually, I've been playing with a similar idea. Monthly workshops, open to anyone interested in learning transformation techniques, sliding scale payment." "I'd attend," Amanda said enthusiastically, "and I know others who would too." By the time they parted ways an hour later, Lola had the outline for a new program, quarterly workshops taught by herself and her team, covering everything from makeup basics to voice training to fashion choices. Heading home, brown hair catching the golden light of sunset, wearing a comfortable navy pantsuit that had become something of a personal uniform for business days, Lola felt a deep sense of alignment. The journey from Coulter to Lola hadn't been easy, but each step had led precisely where she needed to go. The workshop series launched 6 months later to immediate success. Held in a rented community space to accommodate larger groups, the first session sold out within days. Watching 40 people of various backgrounds learning foundation matching techniques from her team, Lola felt a profound sense of purpose. During a break, she stepped outside for fresh air. The weather had turned cool, and she pulled her cream-colored cardigan closer around her shoulders.
"Excuse me," a timid voice said. "Are you Lola?"
Turning, she saw a middle-aged person clearly dressed in women's clothing for perhaps the first time. The awkward stance, the uncertain makeup application, the nervousness all too familiar. "I am?" Lola smiled warmly. "Are you enjoying the workshop?" "More than I can say," they replied. "I drove 3 hours to be here. There's nothing like this where I live." Something clicked in Lola's mind. "Where are you from?" When they named a small town in the next state, Lola nodded thoughtfully. "Would people in your area benefit from something like this workshop?" "Absolutely. There's a whole underground community with nowhere to go, no resources." That night, Lola couldn't sleep, her mind racing with possibilities. The next morning, she called an emergency meeting with her team. "What would you think about taking our workshops on the road?" she asked once everyone had gathered. "Traveling to smaller communities where these resources don't exist?" The idea sparked immediate enthusiasm. By lunchtime, they had the outline of a plan, a mobile version of their workshops that could travel to smaller cities within driving distance, bringing transformation skills to those without access. "We could partner with local organizations," Michelle suggested, excitement evident in her voice. "Build connections in each community we visit. And record tutorials for people who can't attend in person," added Kai, their newest stylist. "Create an online presence." The expansion into mobile workshops required careful planning and additional investment, but Lola's business had been profitable enough to support the initiative. 3 months later, they launched their first traveling workshop in a small city 2 hours away. The response was overwhelming. People drove from surrounding rural areas, some traveling hundreds of miles for the opportunity to learn in a safe, supportive environment. Local news covered the event, bringing visibility to communities that had long remained hidden. 3 years after being terminated from the retail management position, Lola sat in her office reviewing the business's growth. What had started as a desperate measure in a spare bedroom had evolved into a thriving enterprise with 2 permanent locations, a mobile workshop program, an online tutorial series, and 15 employees. More meaningful than the financial success were the hundreds of lives touched. People who had found their authentic selves, or at least the courage to explore, within the safe spaces Lola had created. A knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. "Come in!" she called. Michelle entered, holding a stack of mail. "This came for you," she said, handing over an envelope with familiar corporate letterhead. Lola's breath caught as she recognized the logo of her former employer. Opening it carefully, she found a formal letter inviting her to speak at their corporate diversity training program, along with a personal note from the HR director apologizing for past treatment. "Full circle," Michelle commented, reading over her shoulder. "Indeed," Lola murmured, running her fingers over the letterhead. The company that had once fired her now wanted to learn from her. It wasn't about vindication. She'd moved far beyond needing that, but about the opportunity to create change from within systems that had once excluded her. She drafted her acceptance that evening, sitting on her apartment balcony, the same spot where she'd first contemplated opening a salon space. Her brown hair, now long enough to reach the middle of her back, caught the breeze as she typed. The journey from that moment in the employee bathroom, heart pounding with fear in a teal cocktail dress, to now, a successful business owner, respected community leader, woman comfortable in her own skin, seemed both impossibly long and surprisingly short. Her phone chimed with a notification. Opening it, she found a message from a former client, now living across the country. Attached was a photo of the client standing proudly outside their own newly opened salon, modeled after Lola's concept. "You showed me what was possible," the message read. "Now I'm doing the same for others here. Thank you for leading the way." Lola smiled, feeling the ripple effects of her journey extending outward in ways she could never have imagined. What had begun as a personal crisis had transformed into a movement of authenticity and acceptance, growing beyond any single salon or workshop or individual. Sometimes, the worst moments truly did lead exactly where you needed to be, and sometimes a teal cocktail dress and silver heels could change everything.
Thanks for watching, my girlies! Be sure to check out Patreon for more!